The air in our kitchen is still, thick with the scent of burnt toast and morning hope. And my son, my beautiful, innocent son, is about to unravel my entire world with a simple question. He stands there, a glass of orange juice catching the dawn light in his small hands. His eyes wide, with a curiosity that hasn't yet learned to fear the answers it seeks. Dad? His voice is a bell in the quiet. It hangs in the space between us. Why does Mom change her shirt in the driveway every day? The world, for one endless second, stops turning. All sound drains away, leaving only the frantic drum of my own heartbeat in my ears. I stare at him. This child of mine, this bearer of a truth I never asked to hear. He looks at me as if he's asked about the weather. As if his words haven't just split my life into a before and an after. What do you mean, buddy? The question tastes like ash on my tongue. Mom. He takes a sip, utterly unaware of the earthquake he's causing. When she comes home, she sits in the car for a really long time. He sets the glass down with a soft click. Then she changes her shirt. I watch from my window. A cold finger, sharp and dreadfully slow, traces its way down my spine. She takes off the shirt she's wearing. He continues, his gaze drifting to the sunlight on the floor, and puts on a different one. My hands, which had been wrapped around my own coffee mug, go numb. How often does this happen? I can barely force the words out. Every day. He meets my eyes again. For a long time. He thinks for a moment. Months, maybe. The kitchen walls seem to lean in, closing the space around me. Does she know you're watching? He shakes his head, a lock of hair falling across his forehead. My room is above the garage. I can see down. He pauses again. And in that pause, I feel the last fragment of my ignorance prepare to shatter. Sometimes, he says, his voice dropping to a confiding whisper, she cries first, Dad. The air leaves my lungs in a silent rush before she changes. He looks down, suddenly uncomfortable. She sits there and cries. His small fingers trace the rim of his glass. Then she wipes her face, he continues, and she comes inside smiling. The mug. The simple clay mug I've held every morning for years slips from my lifeless fingers. It hits the counter with a dull, terrible thud. It doesn't break, but the dark coffee spills over the edge, spreading like a stain, like a warning. Because suddenly, with a clarity so brutal it feels like violence, everything makes sense. And nothing makes sense at all. The distance in her eyes at dinner, that wasn't just tiredness. The way she'd sometimes flinch at a sudden touch, that wasn't just surprise. The extra hours. The new, heavier perfume that clung to her skin. The vague answers about her day. Pieces of a puzzle I refused to see, now snap together with a final, damning click. And the picture they form is one of betrayal. My wife, the woman I have loved since I was a boy, is having an affair. The thought is a physical blow to my chest. Thanks for telling me, buddy. My voice is a stranger's voice, hollow, distant. You did the right thing. Is Mum okay? He asks, his young brow furrowed with a concern he shouldn't have to carry. I'm sure she's fine. The lie is bitter. You don't have to worry. He nods, satisfied, and turns back to his cereal, and I am left alone. Standing in the wreckage of my own kitchen, with the truth staining the counter, and my heart in my throat. The hours that follow are a blur of poisoned silence. I move through my work from home, my fingers on the keyboard, but my mind is a trapped animal, pacing a cage of terrible images. Why? The question is a scream inside my skull. Why would she change her clothes in the driveway? Why not come inside, into the home we built together, and change like a normal person? Why sit in the car and cry? The answers come in whispers, each one more devastating than the last. She doesn't want us to see. She doesn't want us to know. She is erasing evidence. She is washing away the scent of another man, the touch of another man, before she crosses the threshold to pretend she is still ours. The crying, guilt, conflict, the agony of choosing between two lives. I hate myself for the thoughts. I hate the man I become in this suspicion. But the logic is a relentless tide, and it drowns everything else. That evening, I watch. I hear the familiar hum of her car engine pulling into the driveway. From the kitchen window, hidden by the curtain's edge, I see her park behind my car. She turns the engine off, but she does not get out. The car becomes a silent metal tomb. Inside, my wife is a silhouette against the fading light. I watch the clock. 1 minute. 2. 5. Dinner simmers on the stove. A meaningless ritual. Our son's laughter floats down from his room. A sound that now feels fragile. And his mother sits in a car, doing God knows what. 10 minutes. 15. Finally, the driver's side door opens. She emerges, smoothing down her sweater. Her face is turned away. She walks to the front door, her steps measured, normal. The key turns in the lock. Hey, babe. Her voice is light as she enters, a melody I have loved for half my life. She kisses my cheek, her lips a fleeting ghost of warmth. Sorry I'm late. She drops her bag by the door. Traffic was terrible. She smiles. It reaches her eyes. It is perfect. How was your day? Fine. The word is a stone. Yours? Long. She sighs, a performance of exhaustion that now seems layered with deceit. Exhausting, you know how it is. And she is already moving past me, her scent, that new, unfamiliar perfume, trailing in her wake. Woody, she calls, her voice brightening instantly. I'm home! I watch her go. She seems fine. She seems normal. She seems happy. But she sat in that car for 15 minutes. Doing what? The question echoes in the hollow space she left behind. The next day, I am a ghost in my own life. I go through the motions of work, but my screen is a blur. My entire being is focused on the clock. on the slow crawl of time toward evening, toward the truth. Her shift ends, the 20-minute drive, the moment of reckoning. At the appointed time, I hear the crunch of gravel. I move to the front window, a spy in my own home. She is there, sitting, still. The engine is dead. The car is a cage of silence. I wait. My breath fogs the cold glass. 1 minute. 2. A terrible compulsion pulls at me. I need to see. I need to hear. Quietly, I slip out the front door. The evening air is cool on my skin. I move like a thief across the damp grass toward the driveway. I get close enough. And then I hear it. A sound so raw, so utterly broken, it freezes the blood in my veins. Sobbing. My wife. With her hands over her face, her shoulders shaking with the force of a grief I cannot comprehend. She is crying as if her soul is being torn in two. She is trying to be quiet, stifling the sounds into harsh, choked gasps. She doesn't want anyone to hear. I stand there, 20 feet from my own heart, shattered on the front seat of a car. And I do nothing. I am paralyzed by the horror of it, by the intimacy of this private devastation I was never meant to witness. The sobbing subsides into ragged hiccups. I see her wipe her face fiercely with the heels of her hands. I see her take a deep, shuddering breath, one that seems to pull her whole body together. Then, the movement Woody described. She reaches into the back seat, her body turning. There is a rustle of fabric, the brief flash of skin. She is changing her shirt, just like he said. I back away, my own vision blurring. I retreat into the house, into the lie of normalcy. Minutes later, she enters. Hey! Her eyes are clear, a little red-rimmed perhaps, but she is beaming. How was your day? The transformation is absolute. It is an act of sheer, terrifying will. The woman weeping in the car is gone. In her place is my smiling wife. Good. I can't look at her. How was work? Busy. She waves a hand, already heading to the fridge. The usual. She grabs a bottle of water. What's for dinner? And just like that, the curtain falls. The performance resumes. We are back to normal. But my hands are still trembling, and the taste of copper, the taste of betrayal, is sharp on my tongue. The opportunity presents itself on a Friday. She is working a double shift. The hospital is short-staffed. Our son is at a friend's house, giggling in a backyard sleeping bag, unaware. The house is empty and quiet. And I make a choice that will haunt me. I tell her I need her car for an oil change. A flimsy excuse. She agrees without question. Now, standing in the gloom of our garage, I face her vehicle. It feels like a violation. It is a violation. But the need to know, the need for proof, is a fire in my chest. I open the passenger door. The interior light blooms. The smell that wafts out is a mixture of her new perfume and something else, something clinical and clean. My heart is a frantic drum against my ribs. I start with the glove compartment. Registration, insurance, a pack of gum, normalcy. But my eyes are drawn to the space under the passenger seat. There, shoved into the shadow, is a plastic grocery bag. I pull it out. The plastic whispers in the silence. I open it. Inside are clothes. A blue scrub top, the uniform of her care. But it is not clean. Dark, rust-brown stains bloom across the fabric, ugly and permanent. Stains that did not wash out. I lift the fabric to my face, against my better judgment. The smell is overwhelming. A pungent cocktail of industrial bleach, of something coppery and organic. And beneath it all, the cloying, heavy scent of that unfamiliar perfume. It is the smell of a secret. My stomach churns. In the center console, my searching fingers find paper. Receipts. I pull them out. My hands unsteady. A coffee shop. Brew Haven. Dates from the past 2 weeks. Multiple visits. We have never been there together. She has never mentioned it. And beneath them, parking garage receipts. The address is printed in stark black type. 447 Pine Street. My phone is in my hand before I can think. My fingers fumble on the screen. I type the address. The search result loads. It is a residential apartment building. Downtown. 20 minutes from the hospital. A high-end complex, the kind with a concierge. The world seems to tilt on its axis. The garage floor feels unsteady beneath my feet. Why? Why would she park at an apartment building? Why the secret coffee shop? Why the hidden, stained clothes and the mask of perfume? The answer, the only answer my shattered mind can construct, rises like a monster from the deep. It confirms every dark suspicion. She is seeing someone, meeting him at his apartment, going there after work or during, changing out of clothes that carry the evidence of his touch, or perhaps the evidence of her guilt, crying because she is trapped, crying because she loves him, crying because she has to come home to us. I slide down into the passenger seat, the bag of clothes clutched in my hand. The receipts are scattered on the floor mat like fallen leaves. I want to scream. I want to rip the steering wheel from the column. 11 years. A son. A home. A life built brick by careful brick. And it has all been a facade. A beautiful, heartbreaking lie. The betrayal is a physical pain, a blade twisting deep in my gut. I do not confront her that night. When she comes home, her exhaustion etched into the fine lines around her eyes, I say nothing. I watch her. I study her every movement, every word, looking for the cracks in the performance. She is good. So devastatingly good. She kisses me. She asks about my day. She laughs at a story about our son. She is my wife, and she is a masterful stranger. The weekend is a slow torture. I move through the hours like a man underwater, every sound muffled, every gesture heavy with the truth I carry. She asks if I am okay. I tell her it is work stress, a project deadline. She believes me, or she pretends to. The trust between us, once as solid as earth, is now just dust. On Monday morning, I make a decision. I call in sick. I send the email with cold fingers, and then I become the man I never wanted to be. I follow my wife. I park across from the hospital, a spectre in a sedan. I watch her walk in her blue scrubs, a symbol of a healing I now doubt she possesses. The day stretches, an eternity of stale coffee and simmering dread. When she emerges at shift's end, I start my engine. My hands are slick on the wheel. She does not drive toward home. My heart hammers as she takes the downtown exit, as she turns onto Pine Street. There it is. 447 Pine Street. The concrete proof from the receipt. She pulls into the underground garage. I follow. Parking several rows away, shrouded in shadow. I watch her get out. She does not look like a woman going to a lover. She looks weary. She moves slowly, as if each step costs her. But what do I know of guilt? What do I know of the weight of a double life? She disappears into the elevator. I wait, then follow. The elevator doors close me in with the scent of her perfume. I don't know what floor. I get out on the 4th. Walk empty, silent hallways. Try the 5th. Nothing. It is a futile, desperate search. I return to my car to wait. An hour later, she emerges. She has changed. The scrubs are gone. She is in the jeans and sweater she will wear home. She gets in her car and drives directly to our house. I follow from a distance, a ghost trailing his own life. When I finally walk through our front door, she is in the kitchen. The smell of sautéing onions fills the air, a cruel parody of normalcy. "Hey," she says, glancing over her shoulder with a smile. "How was your day?" The casual lie is a masterpiece. Fine. I cannot muster more. I want to shatter the pot on the stove. I want to demand the truth. But our son's footsteps thunder on the stairs above us. And I am not ready. I have the evidence, but I have no plan for the wreckage that will follow. The confrontation requires ceremony, a terrible, final ritual. I text her at work. My words are careful on the screen. "Can we do date night this week? Get a sitter for Woody? Just us? We need to talk." The reply takes 20 agonizing minutes. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah," I type. "Just want to spend time together. Talk about some stuff." "Okay," she finally responds. Thursday. I book the restaurant, the same Italian place where we celebrated our first anniversary. A public stage for a private execution. The night arrives. We drop our son at my parents' house. He is excited for the sleepover, oblivious. The drive to the restaurant is a tunnel of silence. She tries to fill it with chatter about her day, About a funny patient. My replies are monosyllabic. I can feel her anxiety thickening the air between us. We are seated at a corner table. Candlelight flickers between us. It feels like a vigil. We order wine. She can't stand it anymore. "Jason," she says, her fingers tightening around her stemware. "What's going on?" She searches my face. "You've been distant all week." Her voice is a fragile thing. "Is it work?"
This is it. The point of no return. I look into the eyes of the woman I have loved since I was 17, and I begin to dismantle our life.
"I need to ask you something." My voice is low, measured, and I need you to be honest with me. Okay? The word is a breath. Why do you change your clothes in the driveway every day? Her face, in the candlelight, goes utterly still, then pale. "What?" "Woody told me. He watches from his window. He says you sit in the car, sometimes cry, then change your shirt, then come inside smiling." I lean forward slightly. He says you've been doing it for months. She is a statue. Her breath has
Stopped. I found the bag in your car, Jen. The clothes, the perfume. I let each item land like a blow. And I found the receipts. From the coffee shop, from the parking garage on Pine Street.
Her eyes are wide, glistening with a terror I mistake for guilt. "The apartment building." I take a breath, the last one before the plunge. "I followed you on Monday. I watched you go into that building." My voice drops to a harsh whisper. "I watched you come out an hour later in different clothes." The silence at our table is absolute. The restaurant noise fades to a distant hum. "So I need you to tell me the truth." I say the words that have been poisoning me for days. "Who is he?"
The question hangs in the air between us. A guillotine poised to fall. Tears begin to spill from her eyes. Silent. Relentless. She shakes her head slowly, as if waking from a nightmare. "Her name," she chokes out, her voice shredded with emotion, "is Natasha." I blink. The world tilts on a different axis. "Are you—" I can't form the question. "Are you cheating on me with a woman?" Her face crumples. A low, wounded sound escapes her. "Oh my God, Jason." Her hands come up to cover her mouth. She's shaking her head violently now. "There's no one." Her voice breaks on a sob. "There's no other man or woman." "Then explain it." My control snaps. "Explain the apartment building, the clothes, the crying, the lying." "I'm not lying." She grips the edge of the table. I didn't want you to know." A heaving sob racks her body. "Didn't want you to know what?" I am lost in this storm of her tears. "That I'm falling apart." The words burst from her, raw and ragged. People are staring. I don't care. "The apartment building," she forces out between sobs. "That's where my therapist's office is." Time stops. Dr. Natasha Reynolds. She swipes at her tears, struggling for air. "I've been seeing her twice a week for 4 months." Therapist. The word echoes in the sudden void of my understanding. That's where I go. That's why I park there. Therapist? I parrot the word, my mind scrambling to rebuild a narrative it has already destroyed. Yes. She takes a shuddering breath, trying to compose herself. I started in November. The coffee shop, she continues, her voice trembling, that's where I sit after sessions. She looks at me, her eyes pools of utter despair. Because I can't drive home immediately after. Her whisper is a confession. I need time to compose myself, to process, to stop crying. Why? The question is a plea. Why are you in therapy? Why didn't you tell me? She looks at me as if from a great distance. Because I'm drowning, Jason. I've been drowning for years, and I didn't want you to know. Her voice drops to a shattered whisper. I didn't want to burden you. I didn't want Woody to see me fall apart. What are you talking about? My job. The word is heavy. The ICU. She leans forward, the candlelight casting deep shadows on her face. Do you have any idea what I do every day? I watch people die. The statement is blunt, a clinical fact that holds a universe of pain. I hold their hands while they die. A tear traces a clean path through her makeup. I call families and tell them their loved one didn't make it. Her eyes are fixed on something far away, something terrible. I see things, she says, her voice hollow. Terrible things I can't unsee. She begins to cry in earnest now, deep, heaving sobs that shake her small frame. During the pandemic, she gasps, it was a nightmare. We lost so many. She grips her own arms as if holding herself together. And they were alone, Jason. Their families couldn't visit, so I held their hands. I stayed with them. I was the last face they ever saw. Her gaze finds mine again, blazing with a painful truth. Strangers dying. And I'm the only person there. She takes a ragged breath. And after it ended, everyone thought it would get better. She shakes her head slowly. But it didn't. People still die in the ICU. Every week. Car accidents, heart attacks, strokes, overdoses. Her voice gains a terrible momentum. Young people, old people, people with families waiting outside, hoping. And I have to be the one, she chokes, to tell those families that we did everything we could. A sob cuts her off. But it wasn't enough. She looks down at her hands, as if they are stained. I developed PTSD. The acronym sounds foreign on her lips. That's what Dr. Reynolds says. She meets my eyes. Post-traumatic stress disorder. From my job. Her whisper is filled with a horror I am only beginning to grasp. From watching people die. Over and over and over. She wraps her arms around herself. From carrying all that death, all that grief. My throat is sealed shut. I cannot speak. I cannot move. The clothes in the bag, she continues, her voice trembling, those are my scrubs. A tear falls directly onto the white tablecloth. They have blood on them, Jason. Blood that won't wash out no matter how many times I try.
Her eyes are wide with the memory. Blood from patients I tried to save and couldn't. She shudders. I can't bring those scrubs into our house. I can't let Woody see them. Her voice drops to a horrified whisper. Can't let him smell the hospital smell. The death smell. The
Perfume, she says, gesturing weakly, is to cover the smell. She looks at me with a profound shame, because even after I change, even after I shower at the hospital, I can still smell it. She lists the scents like a curse. The disinfectant, the blood, the death. So I use perfume. Strong perfume. To mask it. Her next words break what is left of my heart. So when I hug Woody, he doesn't smell death on his mother. I feel as if I've been physically struck. The air is gone from my lungs. And the crying, she continues, her voice a thread of sound. I cry in the car because I can't cry in front of you. Can't cry in front of Woody. She looks at me with an agony so deep it seems bottomless. You both need me to be strong, to be the happy mom, the happy wife. A sigh that seems to come from the depths of her soul. So I sit in that car and I let it out. All the grief, all the trauma, all the pain. Her hands mimic the actions I now understand. And then I wipe my face, and I change my shirt, and I put on the smile. She meets my gaze, her own utterly naked. And I come inside and pretend I'm fine. A single, clear truth lands in the silence. But I'm not fine, Jason. I'm not fine. Her voice cracks wide open. I'm breaking. I'm shattered. She is sobbing uncontrollably now. And I've been trying so hard to hold it together. The words are torn from her. To protect you and Woody from how broken I am. A final, devastating whisper. To keep being the person you need me to be. I am shattered. The foundation of my world, of my anger, has crumbled to dust. In its place is a vast, echoing canyon of her pain. A pain I was too blind, too selfish, too suspicious to see. I reach across the table. My hand finds hers. Her skin is ice cold. Why didn't you tell me? My own voice is thick with tears. Why didn't you let me help you? Because you have your own stress, she cries. Your own job. You take care of Woody when I'm working. You do so much already. She looks down, ashamed. I couldn't add my breakdown to your plate. A tear of my own falls. You're not a burden. The words are fierce. You're my wife. You're supposed to tell me when you're hurting. I didn't know how. Her confession is a wail of despair. I didn't know how to say it without falling apart. She grips my hand with desperate strength. Without admitting that I've been failing, she whispers the terrible word. Failing at being strong. Failing at protecting our family from my pain. Now I am crying too. Openly, unashamed, in the middle of the restaurant. I thought you were having an affair.
The admission is a poison I finally expel. I was so sure. The
evidence, it all pointed to it. She nods slowly, her eyes closed. I know. A whisper. I know how it looked. She opens her eyes, and they are filled with a profound regret. I should have told you about the therapy, about everything. Her voice breaks. But I was ashamed, Jason. She forces the words out. Ashamed that I couldn't handle my job. Ashamed that I was weak. You are not weak. I squeeze her hand, my voice trembling with conviction. You are the strongest person I know. Do you understand that? My words come in a rush of realization. You've been carrying trauma that would destroy most people. You've been doing it alone. Because you thought you had to protect us. I shake my head, tears streaming. That's not weakness. That's... I can't finish. The magnitude of her silent suffering is too great. We sit there, in that public place, holding onto each other's hands as if they are lifelines in a roiling sea. Two broken people, finally seeing the cracks in the other. I'm so sorry, I finally say. The words are utterly inadequate. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. My voice cracks. I was right here, and I missed all the signs. You didn't miss them. She shakes her head. I hid them. I hid everything. What can I do? I ask, the helplessness washing over me. How can I help? I don't know. She looks utterly vulnerable. I don't know what I need. That's why I'm in therapy. Trying to figure it out. Tell me about it, I say, clinging to this new, painful knowledge. Tell me about the therapy. She takes a shaky, composing breath. Dr. Reynolds, she begins. She specializes in healthcare worker trauma, PTSD. She meets my eyes, seeking understanding. She's helping me process everything. Helping me learn how to decompress without destroying myself. A faint, fragile hope colors her words, teaching me coping mechanisms. She looks down. It's helping, slowly, but I'm still struggling. What happens? I ask, needing to enter this world she has occupied alone. We talk about specific cases, patients I've lost, the ones that haunt me. She swallows hard. She's teaching me how to create boundaries, how to leave work at work, instead of carrying it home. Her smile is a faint, sad ghost. But it's hard, really hard. The apartment building, I say, needing to reconfigure the terrible picture in my mind, is just her office. Yes, 4th floor, suite 402. A simple address. Not a love nest. A refuge. That's all it is. I go twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hour-long sessions. She explains the ritual I misread so completely. Then I sit at the coffee shop for 30 minutes, because I need time before I can face coming home. And you've been doing this for 4 months. The timeline of her secret suffering unfolds in my mind. Yes. I lean forward, my voice thick with emotion. Jen, you don't have to hide anymore. You don't have to cry alone in the car.
My words are a vow. You don't have to protect me from your pain. I look into her eyes, hoping she can see the truth in mine. We're supposed to be a team. We carry things together. I didn't want to burden you, she repeats, the old fear clinging to her. You are not a burden. Each word is a stone laid on a new foundation. Your pain is my pain. Your struggles are my struggles. I say the words that should have been our creed all along. That's what marriage means. Fresh tears spill from her eyes. But they are different tears now. I'm so tired, Jason. The admission is a surrender. So tired of pretending. So tired of hiding. Her voice is a faint murmur. So tired of being strong. Then stop. My voice is soft, but it carries the weight of a decision. Stop pretending. Stop hiding. I squeeze her hands. Let me help you carry this. We do not finish our dinner. The food grows cold, forgotten. We sit for an hour more, just talking, really talking. For the first time in years, there are no masks, no roles to play. She tells me about the patients whose names she can't forget. She tells me about the nightmares that wake her in a cold sweat, the anxiety that tightens her
Chest in the hospital elevator. She describes the way her hands sometimes shake for no reason. The panic attacks in the sterile hospital bathroom. The constant suffocating feeling of drowning. And I tell her my truth, my fear, my paranoia, my absolute certainty of her betrayal, my guilt for being so blind, for being a detective of deceit when I should have been a partner in healing. We drive home in a silence that is not empty, but full of shared pain and fragile, dawning hope. When we pull into our driveway, the very sight of her secret suffering, I turn off the engine. We sit in the dark. You don't do this alone anymore. My voice is clear in the quiet. From now on, when you get home, you don't sit in this car alone. I turn to her, my outline barely visible in the dark. You come inside. You tell me about your day, the good parts and the terrible parts. You cry if you need to. You process with me. The final foundational promise. We do this together. What about Woody? She asks, the mother's instinct immediately rising. We'll figure it out. We'll tell him an age-appropriate truth. I speak the words, believing them as I say them. That mum has a hard job helping sick people, that it makes her sad sometimes. I look at her, that it's okay to be sad. My final lesson, learned too late, but learned nonetheless. We'll teach him that being strong doesn't mean hiding your feelings. A pause filled with new understanding. It means being honest about them. The weeks that follow are a different kind of hard. Not the sharp, secret pain of suspicion, but the aching, tender work of rebuilding. Jen comes home from work. She does not sit in the car. She comes inside. I give her 30 minutes. A sacred space in our bustling home. 30 minutes where she can sit at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and stare out the window. Where she can tell me about the code blue that didn't make it. Where she can sit in total silence or cry into her hands. There is no script, only presence. Woody knows now.
We explained it simply, carefully. Mum helps people who are very sick. Sometimes, even,
Though she tries her very hardest, people die. That makes Mom sad. So she needs a little quiet time when she gets home to feel her feelings. Then we can have family time. He understood with the profound, uncomplicated empathy of a child. He even made her a card. Construction paper and crayon. It's okay to be sad, Mom. I love you. She keeps it on her bedside table. Therapy continues, twice a week. Now she tells me about her sessions. She shares what she is learning about trauma, about the nervous system, about grounding techniques. I learn too. I read about healthcare worker burnout, about compassion fatigue, about secondary trauma. The language gives shape to the monster she has been fighting. It makes it slightly less terrifying. We begin to talk about the future. About her changing jobs. She does not want to stop being a nurse. That identity is core to her. But maybe leaving the ICU. Moving to a department with less trauma, less relentless death. Cardiac rehab. Outpatient care. I've given 10 years to the ICU, she says one evening, her head on my shoulder. A long, slow breath. Maybe that's enough. I take action. I clean out a corner of our garage. I paint the walls a soft, calming green. I bring in a comfortable armchair, a soft lamp, a small rug. I put a potted plant in the corner. It is not much, but it is a space, a designated place for her to decompress that isn't the front seat of a car. A place that says, "Your healing is welcome here." Sometimes she uses it. Sometimes she doesn't. But it is there. And sometimes I simply sit with her there. I don't talk. I don't try to fix it. I just am. Dr. Reynolds calls it co-regulation. Just being a calm, steady presence for someone whose inner world is storm. Woody continues to ask his simple, profound questions. Did someone die at the hospital today, Mum? And Jen now answers with an honesty that is both heartbreaking and healthy. Yes, buddy. A very sick person. I tried to help them, but they were too sick. Are you sad? He'll ask, his small face earnest. Yes, she will say, pulling him into a hug. But I'm okay. I'm sad because I care, and caring is good. He seems to understand this. He gives her extra long hugs on the days she seems quiet. He's learning about empathy, about the beautiful, painful weight of loving someone who feels deeply. Months pass. The seasons change outside our windows. One afternoon, we are in the backyard. Sunshine dabbles through the leaves of our oak tree. Woody is chasing the dog in laughing circles. Jen is next to me on the patio, a book open but unread in her lap. She looks lighter, not fixed. Healing is not a straight line, Dr. Reynolds reminds us. It is a spiral, but lighter. The terrible, invisible weight she carried is not gone, but it is shared. I put in my transfer request. She says it quietly, without looking at me. My heart pauses. What? At work. She turns her face to the sun.
eyes closed. I'm moving to the cardiac rehabilitation unit, outpatient. She opens her eyes and looks at me. No more ICU. My last day in the ICU is in 3 weeks. Jen. I search her face. Are you sure? I'm sure. A small, genuine smile touches her lips. I've given everything I can to the ICU. Her voice is soft but filled with a new strength. I've given too much. She takes my hand. It's time to do something that doesn't destroy me. She nods as if confirming it to herself. Dr. Reynolds agrees.
I can still help people. The light is back in her eyes. I can still be a nurse, but in a way that doesn't require me to carry death home every single day.
I'm proud of you. The words are immense, but they are not enough. I'm proud of me too. She says it with a quiet wonder, for finally admitting I can't do it anymore. That's hard, I say, admitting you've reached your limit. She looks at our son, now rolling in the grass with the dog. That's not failure, I whisper. That's wisdom. She smiles, a real, full smile that reaches her eyes. She reaches for my hand. I'm sorry I hid from you. Sorry I thought I had to carry everything alone. I'm sorry I didn't notice.
I bring her knuckles to my lips. Sorry I jumped to the worst conclusion instead of just asking what was wrong. She leans her head on my shoulder.
We're both sorry. A sigh of contentment. But we're better now, right? I kiss the top of her head. We're better now. Woody runs over, grass stains on his knees, breathless. Dad, can we get ice cream later? I look at Jen. She grins and nods. Sure, buddy. He whoops and sprints back to the dog. Jen watches him, her expression soft. He's been happier too. Did you notice? Since I stopped hiding? Since I started being honest about the hard days? He's less anxious, more open. I nod. Kids know. Even when we think we're hiding it, they know something's wrong. He's a good kid. He's a great kid. I put my arm around her. He's the one who noticed you were hurting when I didn't. I hold her tighter. He's the one who asked the question that saved us. More time flows by. The first frost dusts the grass. The holidays come and go, filled with a quieter, more genuine joy. Jen's last day in the ICU arrives. She comes home that evening, and she does not cry. She is quiet, thoughtful. She hangs her blue ICU scrubs in the back of the closet. A week later, she starts in cardiac rehab. She comes home tired, but it is a different tiredness. The exhausted
Slump of her shoulders is gone. Sometimes, she still uses the quiet corner in the garage. She sits for 15 minutes, sipping tea, letting the day settle. But she is not hiding. She is just taking a moment. And that is okay. I think often of that terrible, perfect storm of misunderstanding. How close I came to losing her, not to another person, but to the silent, creeping poison of trauma, to the belief that she had to be strong, alone. I think of my certainty, my detective's mind, piecing together clues of perfume and parking receipts into a story of betrayal. The evidence was all there. It fit the narrative perfectly.
And I was completely, devastatingly wrong. But being wrong saved us. It forced the locked doors open.
It shattered the silence. It led us through a path of incredible pain back to each other. Jen does not change clothes in the driveway anymore. She comes inside in her scrubs. Sometimes they are wrinkled. Sometimes they carry the faint, clean scent of antiseptic. That is okay. We wash them together. We do not hide the reality of her work anymore. We face it together. She still has hard days. Days when the old trauma resurfaces like a ghost. Days when patience is thin. Days when she mourns the adrenaline, the high-stakes intensity of the ICU, even as she knows it was killing her. But she does not carry it alone. She shares it, talks about it, lets us help carry the weight. And I have learned to ask with my whole heart, how was your day? And to mean it. I have learned to listen, not just to her words, but to the spaces between them. I have learned to look for signs not of deceit, but of distress. To check in, to create space for honesty, even when it is uncomfortable. Marriage, I have learned, is not about perfection. It is not a gleaming, untouchable sculpture. It is a garden. It requires constant, sometimes muddy, tending. It is about choosing to struggle together. About being honest when you are drowning, so your partner can throw you a line. About asking, "What's wrong?" and really meaning it, instead of assuming you already know the answer. That is what family is. That is what love, in its most durable, realist form, truly is. One evening, I stand at the kitchen window. I watch her car pull into the driveway. The engine cuts. For a moment, she just sits there. But it is not the paralyzed stillness of before. It is a pause, a conscious breath. Then she opens the door. She grabs her bag from the passenger seat. She walks toward our house, her face turned up to the last of the evening light. She's not smiling yet, but she's not pretending either. She is just Jen, my wife, home. And as she reaches for the door handle, I am already there to open it for her.